It's kind of hard to watch. Democrats have spent the past week dying on another unnecessary hill. Instead of thanking President Trump for finally being bold enough to do something to address the crime problem that has plagued Washington for decades, they're pulling out doctored charts and graphs trying to convince people that the city is safe while they're getting carjacked. And much of the most violent crime is happening in majority black neighborhoods, the same places that have overwhelmingly supported Democrat candidates for decades in the city are now suffering, but somehow it's Donald Trump who's the racist.
He just came in, said I'm taking over, and then announced I'm going to other cities, all of whom have black mayors: Los Angeles, Oakland, Chicago, New York. I'm going after all these cities, not one Republican city, not one white mayor.
I'm a black woman in America. I do not always think that more police make streets safer. When you walk down the streets of Georgetown, you don't see a police officer on every corner, but you don't feel unsafe. So what is it about talking about places like Southeast D.C., right? Ward 8, if you will.
They seem to hold their harshest criticism sometimes for cities that are majority black and brown.
Okay, joining us now for more, host of the John Amachuku Show on YouTube, Pastor John Amachuku, and host of the Vince Everett Ellison Show, Vince Everett Ellison. Gentlemen, great to have you back on. The New York Times, with maybe the most dramatic report of the day describing these National Guard troops in the Capitol. Here's the quote. About a dozen members of the National Guard appeared in 5 military vehicles near the Washington Monument as the sun set, a stark juxtaposition to a peaceful evening scene of people jogging by with headphones and walking their dogs. Vince, does the New York Times not get that those National Guard troops are there to keep those same dog walkers and joggers safe in the first place?
They don't want these people safe. The Democratic Party wins by using fear. Look, John and I go to Washington, D.C., and John and I are 2 big men. And we know when we go into D.C., we got to be ready to fight. Man, I went to the Mayflower Hotel, a 5-star hotel in D.C. 2 or 3 weeks ago. I came out, 2 dudes were fighting, and I said, man, you better get back. I mean, seriously, you cannot go anywhere in D.C. without seeing foolishness and fighting. The Democrats are a Democrat Party. Heaven is an American hell. Everywhere they rule, you have nothing but murder, mayhem, destruction. And as long as they can keep the chaos, as long as they can keep the fear, as long as they can keep these people hiding, they know they can maintain their power.
John, take a listen to Senate Minority Leader. This is Chuck Schumer talking about just how safe Washington really is.
A lot of folks on the Republican side, your Republican colleagues, say that they are very scared to walk outside in D.C., that they think this is completely the right thing to do. Senator, are you scared walking around Washington, D.C. these days?
I walk around all the time. I wake up early in the morning sometimes and take a nice walk as the sun is rising around some of the Capitol and the other monuments and things, and I feel perfectly safe. They're full of it.
He's such a liar. So, Pastor John, he's got 4 Secret Service agents. It's unbelievable. He's got 4 Secret Service agents assigned to him 24/7 because he's Senate Minority Leader. No wonder he feels safe.
Of course. You know, listen, Chuck Schumer and even the individuals that you showed in your montage from god-awful MSNBC, these people are playing the race game. They don't want to address the real issue that needs to be talked about. 91.5% of the crimes that took place in D.C. in 2023 and in 2024, they were committed by blacks, the people who look just like the cowards who are now gaslighting us and telling us that there's no crime taking place in D.C. So instead of addressing the fatherlessness issue in the black community, instead of talking about weak laws and being soft on crime, they would rather pass the buck.
We looked into it. If you look at the 50 largest cities in America by population, only 3 have a Republican mayor: Oklahoma City, Miami, and Dallas, Texas. You got to go way down the list, like Bakersfield, California, to find another city in the country with a Republican mayor. That's just a fact. By the way, Vince, look at this. We've got photos of people on the National Mall with those National Guard troops yesterday. These are tourists and residents. They all look pretty darn happy that the National Guard is there, don't they?
Yeah, man, look, Washington, D.C. is the front porch of America. Ambassadors from all over the world come there. People from all over the world come to D.C. It is our nation's capital. And I'm telling you, when you go there, it's a shame what you see. When you're driving from the airport, you see homeless people. You see people begging. You can't sit down outside and have dinner or on a very nice day without somebody walking up to you trying to harass you for money. You know, people are getting shot. They had that little congressional staffer, young man, he got shot. People getting carjacked. And then people go back to their countries all over the world and they ask, what about Washington? And they say Washington is a dump. And it's a dump because the Democratic Party is running it.
John, I just want to get you on this. This is just in D.C. So 2022, a report came out, 77% of black births in Washington were to unwed mothers, meaning single-parent households. That number is outrageously high, 77%, pretty close to 100%. You think maybe that's part of the problem in places like Ward 8? Simone Sanders is comparing Georgetown, one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in D.C., to Ward 8, one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in any city in the entire country. You think maybe that's part of the problem, Simone?
Of course it is. You know, when D.C. is positioned in a manner where, you know, cities like Compton are safer than D.C., Bogota, Mexico City, New York, you know, the crime is, you know, in D.C. is six times higher than that of New York.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a travesty. And when you look at the carjackings that took place in D.C. in 2023, the majority of those carjackings were done by kids ages 12 to 16.
Right.
What does that say? There's no father at home. There's no order. It's chaos. So now the prison system and the legal system has to now be the surrogate parent. And if that's the case, lock them up.
Pastor John, Vince Everett Ellison, great to see you both. Thank you.
You too. Take care.
All right. Stay with us.